there were not even enough diplomatic security for him to leave the compound without asking the CIA operatives to assist them. Were you aware of that?
Well, we had an agreement with the CIA to help supplement security and to come to the aid. It was a mutual agreement.
Was that a written agreement?
No, it was not a written agreement, but we are posted with the CIA in many places in the country.
And welcome back to the show. While there were plenty of questions for Hillary Clinton during yesterday's Select Benghazi Committee hearing, 11 hours worth to be precise, what may prove to be equally as interesting is who was not being called to answer questions before the panel, either in public or in private. At this point, it is clear the annex, located approximately 1 mile from the State Department consulate in Benghazi, was not only a far larger operation, but was operating under the auspices of the CIA. Indeed, 2 of the Americans who lost their lives in Benghazi were killed at that CIA annex. So why has the CIA not been called to account by Congress for a failure to provide adequate protection at the annex? Why is David Petraeus, the director of the CIA at the time of the attack, not being asked to testify? Are there 2 deaths suffered at the CIA facility somehow less subject to scrutiny than the lives that were lost at the consulate? Steve, why is this all about the State Department and not about the CIA?
I don't know. You'd have to ask the committee and you'd have to ask the powers that be, but I don't want to lose, take it away from Hillary, who...
well, why not? I'm not saying take it away, no. but why aren't they equally as culpable?
Well, maybe, David Petraeus or whoever was responsible at the time didn't go over there and blame it on some nonsensical video and insult the family members as the coffins came home and said, we're going to get the guy who made the video.
But that doesn't speak to the real issue.
So I don't know, but the real issue is that Hillary Clinton yesterday admitted that she lied to the American public an hour before she told her own daughter it was specifically.
It was not a video. What happened in Benghazi. Call it the cover-up after Benghazi.
Well, no, what happened
so that's in Benghazi not why 4 guys got killed.
But Hillary did not provide security to the request that was requested by Ambassador Stevens. Well, we're not talking about that right now. Why are we letting Hillary off the... Because the hearings were yesterday.
He just lost his $10. Heather, you take a shot at it.
I do think that there's an argument to be made that there's something there that maybe people know about and don't want to talk about. Because you saw even with that questioning, there's a lack of follow-up. A good person follows up on the answer. What did the CIA know? What were they involved? It wasn't written, it was oral. I think that there's something there. I think Steve is right. When it comes to the cover-up, Hillary Clinton, really, that's where she got hit yesterday.
But wait, a CIA annex, I'm sorry, a CIA annex isn't known.
Of course it's known. We all know it was CIA.
No. At the time, you knew it was a compound where an ambassador was. Enhanced security could be evident and abundant, but you're not going to put security all over a building that you want to be incognito. I'm not saying that. Maybe that's one reason.
But weren't they there to help? I mean, I think that there's a lot of questions to be asked that aren't being asked.
And that's my point. And maybe
let the former
right.
FBI.
That's what I was going to say. We got an FBI military guy here. What's up with that, man? Why is the CIA not being brought in on this?
Well, I think everybody's right here. I think Hillary has her part to play in this as far as blame goes. I think the head of CIA has their part to blame. I think that you're right, CIA compounds should not be known, but I think when you look at the weaponry that was used against that compound and the accuracy that it had, which was mortars, there had to be people that have gone in there and pasted off, which I'm pretty sure that they know that they did, which would tell you that somebody was not either screening the workers or they weren't securing the compound properly. Overall, it was a complete failure of leadership before, during, and after Benghazi.
Not just State Department.
Not just State Department, but I do think that each one of them have their big parts to play, and the agency is typically more classified, so therefore they're slower to release any information about that.
Well, they haven't even been asked to. That's my point.
Well, we don't know exactly what they have
been
and not been asked.
We would know. David Petraeus did testify in front of the House Intelligence Committee. We knew it. It was a private private session.
Sure.
But we knew it. He has not been called. Meantime, there have long been stories that have circulated, most notably in an expose published by noted journalist Seymour Hersh, that what was really happening in Benghazi was a covert CIA operation involving the taking of guns from the Libyan government arsenal and moving them to the Syrian rebels attempting to oust Syrian dictator Bashar al-Assad. It's further been alleged that this was done in conjunction with the British MI6 and the Turkish government. If this is true, why is Congress attempting to shift all the blame onto the State Department? Heather, it's not just Seymour Hersh. There have been numerous accounts at this point. I don't think there's anybody anymore who doesn't believe that this covert operation was going on. So if there was such a covert operation, it's a darn good bet that the top guys in the Congress, John Boehner, people like that, knew it every step of the way. Isn't that why they're protecting the CIA?
Well, I think that's part of it, although if that's true that they knew, I mean, I thought it was interesting in looking at the story today, Rand Paul is the person who first raised the issue, and you sort of forget he's running for president. But I think that, I mean, what the answer is, it's all political. You know, the reason that we're going after Hillary Clinton.
CIA operation?
Security,
but it's a failure to, but they're not pursuing the CIA
But
portion.
wait a minute, Hillary was asked
story.
about all these scenarios about last night about weapons going to this country, to that. They wanted yes or no answers. She said she knew nothing and had never heard anything about weapons going anywhere to anyone. So is it possible, feasible, the CIA was doing this and Boehner knew, but Hillary didn't? So did she perjure herself?
I think she totally knew, but I know that
she perjured herself.
But she couldn't have, in the name of national security, answered such a question.
Well, she didn't say that. She said no. He said you might not be able to answer this. She said no. So she perjured herself.
Maybe she didn't know.
I also think CIA paperwork is probably easier tracked than Hillary's paperwork.
All right, well, we ran out of time, and I had so much more I wanted to talk about on this. But is the CIA getting a pass in Benghazi investigation? And if so, why? We want to know what you think. Go to newsmaxtv.com/comments. Let us know. Coming up, has the GOP finally admitted that Trump's their man?